Welcome back to Wake Up America. Multiple explosions hitting the center of Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, leaving several dead and injured. Meantime, China calls for de-escalation in Ukraine following the deadly attacks.
For more on this, let's welcome in retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General, U.S. Deputy Military Rep to NATO, and Newsmax contributor Blaine Holt. General, welcome back to Wake Up America.
Happy Monday. Good to be with you both.
You too. One can assume, and this is kind of what we're going with here, that the renewed attacks on Kyiv and Lviv are in response to the explosion of that bridge in Crimea. Is that true, one? Secondly, curious your thoughts on President Putin calling that explosion of the Crimea bridge terrorism.
Yes, well, apparently the Ukrainians got his attention just around the time of his birthday. But that is a very valid military target that Putin built after his illegal seizure of Crimea. So nothing's good about that bridge. It doesn't cut off all logistics, but it certainly makes it much more difficult for the Russians. And then he did promise a response in kind. It's unfortunate that there's just more war crimes attached to attacking Lviv and Kiev because he went after civilian targets. And so he said he would do it, and he did it. And these are just piling on more war crimes in response to a legitimate military hit.
Yeah, General, we've talked about this before, but it appears as if Putin is being pushed in a corner. He's now attacking civilians, not like he hasn't before, but we had a reporter on earlier. She said they were without power. They've been in shelters. People are scared. And of course, he's threatening nuclear weapons. So how concerned should Ukraine and the U.S. be about Putin using nuclear weapons?
Yes, so the world should take this extremely seriously and not just dropping, I've seen over the weekend a lot of folks marginalizing the idea that, well, it wouldn't be so impossible to have a small nuclear weapon hit inside of Ukraine and then we'd all just be fine as a world. We have not seen a nuclear detonation in anger since Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And that is a very scary proposition that, depending upon how it were expended, could affect Europe very quickly, could affect just spiral out of control with bigger and higher weapons.
General Holt, do you feel that President Biden was correct to use the term Armageddon at that fundraising event last week to discuss where we are with Ukraine, with Russia?
I think it's a very unfortunate choice of words. It's also in direct conflict with where his administration's been. Let's go back to his conversation was to raise funds for future campaigning, but he's raising funds on something that his administration actually is the seed corn for and created with weakness. So if you go back to Alaska and then Kabul and then not deterring the Ukrainian war and the other things, that's how we get to this place where you've got a world leader threatening nuclear weapons because he feels he can. So I was just very confused by the whole term. If U.S. intelligence is sitting on information that nuclear war is imminent, I would expect our nuclear forces to be at a much higher state of alert than they are.
Yeah, interesting. General, Putin is holding a meeting with the Security Council today. What do you expect to come of this?
Well, there's just going to be a lot of, brinksmanship. There'll be a lot of threats, and there'll be a lot of accusations. The UN Security Council is pretty much hamstrung because China and Russia sit there with vetoes. It'll be a theater. There's not a whole lot that can be done right now, unfortunately, at the UN, and we shouldn't probably look for anything other than more of this terrible rhetoric that has everybody very frightened.
Absolutely. All right. Well, General Blaine Holt, we thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
It's great to be with you both. Have a great day.